Some non-Christians I know don't want to go to heaven because there won't be mistakes, and mistakes is what makes life life. I personally cannot imagine a heaven that doesn't include learning. Can there be learning or mistakes in heaven?
Or does learning have to entail that you make mistakes? Maybe it does. And does making mistakes mean that you are sinning?
Right.
Because if it didn't involve sin, then there could be that.
Absolutely.
I suspect that this friend of Grant's is probably infected by or worried about the kind of heaven that Paul was just talking about, where it's just going to be
Plato's heaven.
like, Stiffville, or, Stiffville, yes, that's exactly what all these stiff people, and everything's perfect, step for wife kind of thing. Yeah, that would be. No, and I can't remember the verse right now, but there are some things about growing from glory to glory. What's that verse where we, and there's this constant idea of expansion. In fact, Gregory of Nyssa, great 4th century theologian, said this, that heaven will be perpetual growth and a perpetual adventure, because you could never exhaust the glory and beauty of God. A finite being could never exhaust the glory of God. So there will always be an infinite more to learn and to enjoy and experience in God than no matter how far down the road we go, there's always more. And so it would be perpetual adventure. And I agree. I can't conceive of a joyful, blissful state. It didn't have some kind of adventure, some kind of learning, growing.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about what Scripture says won't be in heaven is sin. But that doesn't say that, in fact, it would decidedly count against the idea that once human beings get to heaven, that we're perfect in the sense of somehow infinite. Like infinitely smart all of a sudden. God's the only one who's infinite. We'll be perfect, but perfect humans. And humans are by definition, finite. We're limited in knowledge, we're limited in strength, we're limited in a whole lot of ways, which means I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be what you might call mistakes as we continue to exercise our limitations as humans and learn about the infinite God and a lot of other things.
A couple weeks ago, just to throw us in there, I mentioned this in a message. There's a quote from C.S. Lewis. We quote C.S. Lewis a lot around here. But he said it's a little bit like a young boy, 6-year-old or so, who's just learning about sex, and then asks his parents, and he's eating a little chocolate bar, and he goes, well, can you eat chocolate while you have sex? And upon hearing the answer no, although I don't know why C.S. Lewis assumed no, but if you say no.
Next question, please.
That,
I'm nervous.
the analogy works anyways. But hearing no, he would think that the chief characteristic of sex is the absence of chocolate. He says, I don't want anything to do with it. But of course, as he would grow a little bit, he might change his mind as he is in adulthood and gets married. So also, we here sometimes, think that, that we assume that the temporal things we enjoy now, if they're not going to be taking place in heaven. In fact, here C.S. Lewis was saying he assumes that there's nothing like sex in heaven. So he's saying that we think that'd be just terrible, but we're like the little boy in the position who's eating chocolate, and we just can't conceive of the better thing that is ruling this out. Does that make any sense?